really lucky to be kind of moderating this and hoping to learn a lot from this, me and I'm sure the audience. So quickly we'll get started, right? So the topic we have is the new Indian consumer, fast, value conscious and brand conscious. So bhari topic hai thoda. So Yash, we'll start with you. And is there a mic? Can we share? Thank you. So Yash Joy Spoon, right? So mouth freshener as a category, it sounds unorganized. Let me say this, right? It sounds unorganized, right? So how did you identify this gap? What's the story behind Joy Spoon?
So, very right, Sulabh. I think the category is an unorganized category. And as he was mentioning that the generation today, so that was my observation first. But luckily, my co-founder, Vaishali, and wife, she pushed me. I had been in FMCG for 8 years. So, by background, I am a CA, but had started a food startup in 2019, which was into healthy and organic food. It was called FarmSay. And we grew it well. COVID gave us a boost that was required. But in 21-22, we started feeling that to scale the category, we need to focus on one product. And during COVID, Vaishali ended up learning these recipes from her mom and Nani. So I had been observing this category for a very long time. Like I am a mukhwas and mouth freshener lover myself. But I told her the same thing. That आज की generation क्या ये product खाएगी? She kept pushing me, and in our wedding, she gave it as a return favor to a lot of my friends who had come from Bombay, Delhi, because I and she both had studied outside most of our college life. And then when the people started asking back for the product, we thought there is a gray area because people don't. So the main observation was the category is unorganized, plus the products are unhealthy, like full of sugar, supari flavors. So why not bring a better for you product in an organized format? So we launched the brand in October 23, and from her observation to her recipes and now taking it to the globe, that's the idea of how Joy Spoon was born.
So you used your wedding for something other than what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Huh? Market research kar dala aapne.
I got my life partner and business partner in the same event.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So thanks for that, Yash. Now we'll move to Sumit. Sumit, I mean, again, skincare, right? So customers jump brands very fast in this category, right? First of all, is that your opinion as well, or do you see people are loyal to particular brands here?
I think they fly. They don't jump. They just fly away.
Okay, good one. So, but you need to retain them, right? So, what's your retention benchmark, first of all? And beyond ads, what do you do to retain customers?
So let's play it like this. We have a whole bunch of folks here. With a show of hands, how many of you are using skincare? If you can just raise your hands. Yes, so I think around 25-30% of them are using skincare. 65% of them are not using or probably used once. Or
too shy to say.
That's okay. Still, what this means is the ones who are not raising hands, companies and brands like us have to spend money to acquire them, right? That's CAC. And the ones who are already raised their hands. Now, my next question to you is, how many of you have switched some or the other brands in the last 6 months? See, that's the retention we are talking about, right? So from straight 35%, we are there to take 20%. Now, it's a industry problem, and the reason is they are having too many options, which is good. That's why we have 150 folks in the room. And if you're selling on Instagram as a brand, then you are not a brand, you are just a campaign, with all due respect. What happens is your ad shows something, and let's say if I'm selling a niacinamide serum, which is supposed to use in the night, and for some reason if I walk to a pharmacy store near my home and I ask my chemist uncle, आपके पास niacinamide है, and the chemist uncle starts scratching the head, which means that वहाँ पे trust lose हो गया, क्योंकि chemist uncle को आप 20 साल से जान रहे हो, ये brand को आपने कल देखा Instagram पे. So अगर सिर्फ number of followers को देखकर हमें loyalty देखनी है, retention देखना है, तो that is not the right metric. So what your ad says and what the real influencer says down in the ground, which is your chemist, and if you happen to visit a doctor, which is a dermat in my case, and if she or he also suggests suggest the same thing, that's where the real retention starts. So retention is not just setting up funnel campaigns and taking Mo Engage or Web Engage and understanding the cohorts as something foreign which is coming on your website. These are real humans coming on your website. So we have to see what are the touch points of those humans, where all they shop apart from online. Because as you saw just right now, we proved that 15%, 20% retention हो गया तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. So in our case at Dermatouch, we do enjoy a good retention rate. And how do we capture that? Once we sell any product, एक आपके पास upsell campaign होता है कुछ दिनों के बाद, उसके पहले feedback campaign होता है, right? That is in WhatsApp automation. So feedback campaign में हम ये नहीं पूछते कि did you like my product? हम ये पूछते हैं, और इफ यू लाइक माई प्रोडक्ट वुड यू रिकमेंड इट टू अदर्स. ऐसा एनपीएस हम नहीं करते हैं. हम ये पूछते हैं उन्हें कि वर वी एबल टू सॉल्व योर एक्ने, बिकॉज वी नो दैट उसने एक्ने वाली प्रोडक्ट खरीदी है. सो वी गो कंसर्न बेस्ड रादर देन प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड. प्रोडक्ट कैन बी एनीथिंग, एंड इन आवर 65-70% of our customers are from the Bharat cities, which is predominantly non-urban. So वहाँ पे they don't care whether you are clinically proven or dermatology tested or whatever. They just ask one thing, ये दाग मिटाएगा क्या? Right, which is in our language pigmentation. So we understand these nuances of the customers, which means you need to know your customers very well, and accordingly send them nudges. इसको use कैसे करना है? Because क्या होता है, in skincare people want results extremely fast. So if your customer is not buying again, there may not be a marketing problem. It might be something that you are not educating them enough. So you have to keep sending them nudges, how to use the product. So हमारे यहाँ पे ऐसा ऑटोमेशन सेट किया हुआ है कि जैसे ही प्रोडक्ट डिलीवर होता है उसी टाइम पे एक व्हाट्सएप भी जाता है हाउ टू यूज. दीज आर वेरी स्मॉल थिंग्स, एनीबडी कैन डू इट. इट्स जस्ट अबाउट अंडरस्टैंडिंग द बिहेवियर ऑफ योर कस्टमर्स एंड अकॉर्डिंगली सेटिंग एक्सपेक्टेशंस अप. नाउ इफ द कस्टमर इज नॉट नोइंग दैट ये प्रोडक्ट 3 घंटे में काम करेगा या 3 दिन या 3 महीने में, वहीं पे रिटेंशन प्रॉब्लम शुरू हो जाता है आपका. सो आई थिंक इट्स नॉट मेजरली अ मार्केटिंग प्रॉब्लम और what kind of language you are using in your WhatsApp automation or your emails. It's more about you are probably not understanding your customers as much you should.
Understood. So solving their real problem. Okay, but on a lighter note, जिसके दाग ना जाएं, उसको बोल दो दाग अच्छे हैं. Sorry. Okay, moving to Darshan now. So Darshan, congratulations on your 18th birthday, as we just got to know.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Again, your category is where customers jump, right? And what's one behavior that you have noticed that forced you to rethink that maybe this is not working in the product or in the distribution strategy, something then you later pivoted? So any learning you want to share?
See, when we started, right, again, the attention span for a 18-year-old is very short, and it's basically shorter than our ingredient list, right? So for us, it was very difficult to figure out what they actually want. We had a notion that maybe it's a protein content, maybe it's the ingredients you use, or maybe it's just a lifestyle which you are showing them. But the reality is कि it's more of the convenience, if they can buy it straight away. And the second thing would be, is it tasty, right? We had that thought कि चलो तुम कुछ भी दे दो. But India is a very taste dominated market, right? So we had to rethink our product itself. So to be it a functional product, we had to change it to functional plus indulgent product. Because if you don't give them taste, they might try a healthy product today, but they won't have that habit form for a longer period of time. So we had to change that. We had to create an indulgent product so that they can eat it again and again, and that they can have it. And in terms of distribution, again, we started as a retail heavy brand. So we were on all the retail stores, be it in Gujarat or Mumbai or Maharashtra or Rajasthan, right? But sooner than later, we understood that, again, it is more of convenience and fast delivery as well. So quick commerce played a pivotal role in our growth as well. So because what happens is, like, if you want to eat something, you wouldn't think that way कि अरे यार आज order करता हूँ 3 दिन बाद आएगा तो फिर मैं खा लूँगा healthy. That moves away.
Yeah.
So basically you need that in 10 minutes, or basically at a footstep when you go down, buy it from your retail store. So that's what we thought, and that's what we worked out and changed things accordingly.
Understood. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Moving to Chandan now. So Chandan, you are balancing taste, wellness, and affordability, right?
Correct.
3 heavy terms together.
Absolutely.
So what's the hardest trade-off? I mean, question is similar to what I asked him, right? And what does your repeat purchase data tell you?
So what he rightly mentioned is taste is the only thing in food which works. Health, wellness, सब कुछ बहुत अच्छा लगता है, but otherwise everybody would be fit if that is that important. And tobacco or maybe liquor would stop selling from tomorrow. That is not the case. So people want to be healthy, but they do not want to let go of the things which they like. So taste is something which they enjoy. So what we understood it, we did it very simply. We made a pyramid, what we want to do as a company. So health was our first thing, that we do not want to compromise on the products. So we are millet based company, no palm oil, no wheat in any of our products. So we bifurcated everything what we wanted to do in our product. The second is affordability. India is a value conscious market. So we wanted our products to start from 10 rupees, 20 rupees and gradually building up. And the third was taste. As a company, we wanted it to be healthy, we wanted it to be affordable and then tasty. So we thought for few months when we started this company that this pyramid looks very nice. But then when we sat on the other side of the table, the pyramid was looking absolutely fine, but reverse way. Yeah. So taste is what the customer wants first, second is affordability, and third is health. So I think the simplest answer is that the product has to be tasty. No matter what price range you are selling, whether it's 10 rupees or 1,000 rupees product, it has to be tasty for a repeat purchase to happen. Secondly, it has to be accessible. So accessibility is very important in food products because it is not a product that you buy in 6 months mein ek baar ya 12 mahine mein ek baar. It is not like a shoe or it is not like a t-shirt or something which you can wait upon. So food ke andar what we started with was GT, जो general trade market है. So right now we are available in 3,500 stores. We are on all e-com platforms. Quick commerce के अंदर we are available. So we wanted to make sure customer को जहाँ पे जब भी भूख लगती है कहीं ना कहीं अपना product दिखना चाहिए. That is the easiest way to solve the problem. Yeah.
I appreciate the honesty, but it's also a little sad, right? How health has taken the back seat, right?
See, it is, but see, COVID has played a very important role in this. I should not speak like that, but after COVID, what has happened is everybody has started reading the ingredients. See, चीज क्या हुई थी? पहले तो लोग आंखें बंद करके खाते थे, अब पढ़ के खाते हैं. So that transition has happened. अभी पढ़ के लोग रोकने वाले gradually कि भाई दो ऑप्शन अवेलेबल है, एक में पाम ऑयल ज्यादा है, एक में पाम ऑयल नहीं है, तो they are shifting. So the change is very fast. लेकिन एक business को बिल्डअप करने के लिए you cannot wait for 10-15 years.
Yes.
So that change is happening. That change maybe 15 years down the line, everybody would be eating healthy products. लेकिन 15 साल एक ब्रांड को पहुंचने के लिए सस्टेन करने के लिए. So that is the dilemma.
No, very true, very true, very true. Okay, coming to Akash. Akash, so similar to his observation, right? It's like when in food we say everybody wants to eat healthy, but it has to be tasty, right? In skincare, there is a lot of talk about science, ingredients and all, right? But then we see people actually are buying जो influencer बोल रहा है, right? और बोल रही है. So what has your data shown and how has that impacted your growth strategy?
So I think the world or India market has evolved significantly since the time ingredient-led companies started in the market, which was a couple of years back, right? And it started with Minimalist and so many other companies. I don't think now that the market is segmented, saying that ये 5 लोग हैं जिनको सिर्फ salicylic acid दिखा, ingredient दिखा तो ही लेंगे, और ये 5 लोग हैं कि इन्होंने influencer को देखा and only then they'll buy, right? I feel like the market has evolved a lot more. The consumer has evolved in so many years, and now just because if a product claims that we have 2% salicylic acid does not guarantee a buy, and just because an ex-influencer says that this is a great product does not guarantee a buy. And I feel like, as we've all said a couple of times on this panel now, that value is very important, and now the Indian consumer is very value conscious. Now the term value is also spread, talked very freely, but the thing is it's a very complex thing to figure out for every brand differently, right? It is possible that for whoever is working in whichever sector, and this is not just skincare, that someone may find value in a 3,000 rupee product and not find value in a 200 rupee product. It is possible, and it's vice versa also possible कि 200 रुपए के प्रोडक्ट में बहुत वैल्यू मिला पर 2000 में लगा ये फैंसी दिख रहा है पर वैल्यू नहीं है. So what is the brand's positioning? What is the intended audience? What is that audience looking for in the market? That and plus so many other factors determine what that value would be for a potential customer. customer, right? And so now I feel like the world has evolved much beyond. Yes, these things play a role कि कौन सा ingredient है, कहाँ से source किया है. There is a lot of trend now कि whether the ingredient is sourced from out of India or not, things like that in the skincare market, and whether influencers, maybe now people have found niche, right? कि a random influencer tomorrow talking about a skincare product may not work, but then a doctor who has a lot of followers and they're really good and they're talking about skincare, then that seems like a very interesting move, because people also feel like there is some value in this particular influencer talking about this particular product, right? So these are the things that sort of impact how the industry has evolved. And now coming to how we positioned our growth strategy is that as a skincare brand now, Dermatology is also in skincare. We have a different approach. We go only through dermatologists. We figured that जैसे सालों पहले इफ यू इन द प्रीवियस जनरेशन सब लोग बोलते थे कि हमारा एक टेलर है, यू नो, पीपल यूज्ड से कि हमारा टेलर है. वैसे देयर इज अ जनरेशन नाउ दैट्स हमारा डर्मैट है या हमारी डर्मैट है, राइट? अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैव स्टार्टेड सेइंग दैट. सो वी रियलाइज दैट अ डर्मैट हैज नाउ सिटिंग ऑन द टॉप ऑफ द पिरामिड वेयर एवरीवन इज एस्पायरिंग टू से आइदर अ डर्मैट रेकमेंड करेंगे कोई प्रोडक्ट या तो क्या ये डर्मैट रेकमेंड करते हैं कि नहीं करते हैं. एंड दैट वाज द डेटा दैट इन्फॉर्म्ड आवर ग्रोथ स्ट्रेटजी एंड हाउ वी वुड काइंड ऑफ गो फॉरवर्ड इन द फ्यूचर. So that's how the channel that we've picked is dermat-led sort of selling.
So your influencer in that case is the dermat.
And our channel also.
Understood. पूछना ही पड़ेगा. Because you are in the after meal kind of space, right? So meal में मैंने सैलड खा लिया यार, मैंने पनीर खा लिया, and if I'm नॉन वेजिटेरियन चिकन खा लिया. अब लास्ट में तो कुछ बनता है, right? So are you actually playing on health conscious or guilt conscious? And again, how has this evolved?
So I think the way Chandan said, of course, when we started, we thought we should build it health conscious. But in 2022, as I said, when we got married and we introduced Mukhwas to our friends, people did like healthier stuff. But when we asked them what was the first thing you liked about our product, for example, Almond Delight, our product, the first thing they always spoke about was taste. So we felt that indulgence, like because it's an indulgence category, as you said, post meal.
Yeah.
And Joy Spoon is being built as a confectionery brand. Mouth freshener is the first focus category. We like recently added Aam Papad. We'll add more products. So you cannot take away the indulgence for sure.
Sure.
So what we are trying to do is, for example, when we introduced Aam Papad, we tried a lot of variants. You know, Paper Boat is the market leader who does Aam Papad, Naturo does. Everyone was using like 55, 60, 70% sugar. We tried and did variants and we brought it down to like 50, 54% probably. So what we are doing is it's a better for you proposition only, where we don't want to take away the indulgence, but still try and offer something better. We've taken away the artificial colors that are used in their flavors. We've taken away sugar to some extent, trying to make it preservative free if possible, and still trying to maintain a very competitive price so that people try the product, at least in the standard products like Aam Papad. So taste is the first focus. Guilt-free in indulgence is very difficult, but otherwise it makes the product very expensive in a lot of cases, and then it cannot reach houses that we want to.
It almost sounds like a moral dilemma, right? A product which is indulgent heavy, you are trying to reduce the unhealthy part
Correct.
while retaining the indulgence. But one follow-up question, how does it play on your cost?
So it does make it a little heavy. For example, for the same context, if you reduce the sugar in a product, the overall cost does increase. But then that's how our packaging, the branding, people when they pick it, they feel that it's something better. The product is offering something better. The packaging looks a lot better than what is there in the market, and that's why a little slight increase, like 10-20% of incremental cost, they are fine. So our Aam Papad, for example, the MRPs are set aspirational like 149 for 100 grams, but we sell it for 75-80 rupees in market on quick commerce everywhere. Paper Boat does it for 90 rupees. So and also this category always had huge margins since inception because sugar heavy products. So I think that also played in our favor that way we were able to benchmark it to the FMCG category and still build a profitable, profitable not currently, but maybe towards the profitability led business, a sustainable business in the long run.
Understood. Very, very important point. I think so. What you're saying is it's possible to create a better product, yet keep healthy margins.
Correct.
So it's not a trade-off.
Yeah. But I think people are looking for better products, and
Yeah.
if you can offer it at the right price, which is 10-20% incremental, people are definitely willing to pay.
Understood. Thank you. Moving back to you, Sumit, now. You yourself took the example of the chemist Uncle G, right? So, again, your category is such where, and as gentleman was also mentioning in terms of the dermatologists and all, so you need somebody who's kind of an expert, right, to promote your product. How do you work with that? And again, what has been your journey? What has been your learning? Because a lot of people here, including myself, right, we are making mistakes every day, right? So it's very important to learn from what you guys did and kind of pivoted and improved upon.
Sure. So I think it's just another aspect of performance marketing where although we started D2C heavy, we started online first from D2C, from marketplaces, but this performance marketing is something that can't be ignored, right? So what we found is, and everybody would agree that as and when the clock is ticking, the acquisition cost keeps on rising because there are newer brands wanting to get the attention of the same customer. So in totality, if you see that if you want a larger chunk of the large population of India, and skincare is probably the only segment, apart from hair care, where it applies to everyone, right? So what we saw was in the Bharat cities, although they were very aspirational, everybody had money. Just as a context, Flipkart, 65% of their sales comes from tier 2, tier 3 cities, right? So we can't ignore that. So how do we then kind of democratize the entire skincare segment? If you go to Nasik or let's say to Bhopal, the access to dermatologist is not so much compared to let's say in an Ahmedabad or in a Mumbai or a Delhi, right? So, and I don't know, for some reason they feel that going to a dermatologist will cost very heavy, and then the follow-up visits are also very heavy, and there are very per square kilometer, if you see, the concentration of dermats are very low. So people want access to dermats, but they are not available. So I am in Kalol. I can't come to Ahmedabad every 15 days just to see a dermat.
Yeah.
So then what do we do? So that was the problem we saw, and then we saw that although dermats are the greatest influencers for our category, so we came out with a model that the brand popularity was already there owing to the performance marketing that we are doing, the collabs that we do with various influencers. We started collaborating with dermats across India digitally. We were able to capture their interest in our brand digitally. So while the MR was sitting outside the dermat's office or clinic, we were already there in her phone where she was checking Dermatouch out, right? So that's how we started onboarding a lot of dermatologists to drive our purpose, where not only dermats, because if you crack one dermatologist as an influencer or as a partner, you also get their associated chemist 1+1 free types, right? So या तो उनके पास in-house pharmacy होती है, या वो suggest करते हैं कि आप यहाँ से
अपना ही
खरीदो,
बंदा है।
तो वहाँ पे भी ऑटोमेटिकली डर्माटच फिर पहुंच गया. सो ये करते करते डिजिटली वी जस्ट फॉर द रिकॉर्ड्स आई टेल यू दैट वी डू नॉट हैव अ सिंगल फीट ऑन स्ट्रीट इन इंडिया. Currently we are working with around 2,000 plus dermats directly as a brand. In terms of chemist/retailers, we are working with more than 10,000 plus retailers directly, digitally, and we have around 400 plus distributors across India, all digital first. So this performance marketing in establishing this offline layer also helped us to push online layer, because it was a chicken and egg story. जहाँ पे ब्रांड पुल ज़्यादा है उसी पिन कोड में हम डर्मेट और केमिस्ट का नेटवर्क बना रहे हैं डिजिटली, जिससे क्या हो रहा है कि अगर पेशेंट या कंज्यूमर ऑनलाइन जा रहा है या फिर फार्मेसी स्टोर में जा रहा है या डर्मेट के पास जा रहा है, तो मोस्टली आपको सब जगह डर्माटच की स्टोरी दिखाई देती है इन द पिन कोड्स दैट वी डू वेल. So this is how we crack the performance marketing, so that overall our cost of acquisition is low, retention is high, and it seems to be a scalable model right now, and the future looks bright.
Thank you. I'll stay with skincare. I'll go to Akash. Akash, so he raised a point, but he was referring to Flipkart at that time. We'll talk specifically about skincare. Is the tier 2, tier 3 story real for skincare? And especially talk about premium products. Are you seeing demand for premium products from tier 2 to tier 6 cities?
So I think for the category we operate in, we are in definitely in the premium space because our MRP start at 1,000 and then they go higher. What we realized was this was if the question is whether there is rising demand from tier 2, tier 3 or whether there is demand, the answer is yes, for sure there is demand from tier 2, tier 3.
For premium products?
Sorry?
For premium
For
skincare
premium
products.
products, yes, of course. But the point is then beyond a certain MRP, it is about volume. Now, what is the volume of that demand versus tier 1 cities, right? So, for example, if our volume of demand is say 100% basis point from tier 1 cities, then the volume from tier 2 and tier 3 could be 30 or 40 for premium products. But there is definitely growing demand, awareness and various things for premium products. But that's just one side of the story. What we realize very interesting, and again, I think this insight applies to so many other sectors as well, is that the loyalty is higher in tier 2, tier 3. So if I am getting less number of people from tier 2 and tier 3 to buy from me from premium for a premium product, but my loyalty is probably 30%, 40% higher than a tier 1 town, is because a customer from tier 1 has lots of options, right, to switch around, figure out. They're also curious, they want to try this and that. But a tier 2, tier 3 town person, they've already done a big sort of crossed a big hurdle of trying to find something which they were anyway not so sure about. They've already done that work. They get something that they really like, and once they really like something, then the chance of them trying to hoop and jump and go for other things is a little lower. So this is the other side of the story that we've seen in tier 2 and tier 3. And so I think whoever is building, if you're looking at tier 2, tier 3, definitely look at the loyalty angle, and which will help you sort of continue that business from that sector.
So the lifetime value is higher.
Correct, yes.
And is the profitability also higher thus?
That is
Accounting for higher CAC, I'm assuming slightly
there
higher.
is a higher CAC, there are higher RTOs for sure from tier 2, tier 3. So there are some of those things. There is also higher dropout for CODs from tier 2 and tier 3 because most of, if I think everyone would know, most of tier 2, tier 3 want COD for sure, right? And then there are so many other factors. So profitability is a whole different angle anyway that we're looking. If we're thinking about demand and loyalty, then sure, for sure. But profitability is something we have to evaluate as we go forward.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you. Going to Darshan. Darshan, now changing track slightly, we've spoken a lot about products and all. Let's talk about distribution. So where do you see your maximum conversions happening? And probably for the benefit of the audience, you can talk about top line and bottom line both. And let's say marketplaces, quick commerce, and your own channels.
See, I guess with the distribution, it all comes to mindset, where your consumer mindsets are. Like, if you say we are an omni-channel brand, so we have quick commerce, we have marketplaces, we have our own website, and then we have retail stores, right? When you talk about quick commerce is more about impulse, right? You just want it right now. You see the prices, you see again, ठीक है, rate पे आ रहा है, 200 रुपए कार्ट वैल्यू हो जाएगा मेरा, एक प्रोडक्ट डाला, मेरे को अभी खाना है, and that's it, done, right? When you come to marketplaces, it's about figuring out which is a better product. You'll compare the reviews, you'll compare the protein versus carbs ratios. So marketplace is more about comparison. So if your consumers are looking for the comparison, they would probably go to the marketplaces, right? And then we have third channel would be retail, right? We feel retail is more about the market where it is convenience and discoverability. Like if you go out, आपको दिखा packaging बहुत अच्छी है, they'll pick it up. So that is one area, and then we have a website, which is again, if your customer has seen you somewhere, like they have purchased products few times already, then they would want to buy a pack of it, right? That's when the conversion happens through your website, right? So this is 4 channels. Again, we are available on the 4 channels, but we started performance marketing pretty much last month. Before that, we never did it because we saw the CAC, as we discussed, right? CAC is much higher. COD, लड़ाई वो अभी तक सब में लड़ रहे हैं, right? So we never thought we'll be able to crack that in that period of time because our average order value was very low. And it never justified the business which we are doing in that value. So we never went on performance marketing. Now we're talking about the top line. Agar aap dekhoge, quick commerce is again, it is very quick. Again, as we said, like numbers wise, it consists of like about 70% of our business is from quick commerce.
How much?
70%.
Wow.
Right, we started a retail heavy business. When we started like a year back, let's go a year back, we were doing around 50-60% from retail markets and 40% from marketplaces and quick commerce. Now the dynamics have shifted to 70% quick commerce and 20% to retail and 10% to marketplaces. So the switch is massive. So that is where the top line works for us. Actually, we are a quick commerce heavy brand, to be very straightforward on that part.
But isn't that a risk also? Because let's say tomorrow these quick commerce brands, right, they can launch their own brand and kind of cannibalize you.
See, again, I guess Swiggy tried doing that. It's more about see, we have protein bar brands. It's not that we're the only brands there. But it's about So it's about what proposition you're providing to the customers, right? Amazon has done that, basics mein la ke. But then again, the taste, again, we have different channels. We have Zepto, we have Swiggy, we have Blinkit, and all other channels. So we are not heavy on one channel. Of course, the ratio would say ki apan ek mein zyada, ek mein kam hai. But then again, there are 5 channels. Not all the 5 channels try to do so. So we don't see there's a heavy risk. Again, we're there on retail margins. वो retail में आने वाला नहीं है. So we have divided ourselves there, and that's when we took the omni-channel approach, because एक जगह we can't keep all the fruits in one basket. So that's the reason we always went through omni-channel.
Understood. Cool. Yeah, going back to Chandan. Chandan, in a crowded space like yours, right? How do you make your brand differentiate? How do you communicate? One is understanding, and your, let's say, your top team understanding. But how does a person on the street understand what does Windo stand for?
So in food, basically, when you talk about a brand, okay, it takes a lot of years to build a brand in any subject.
Yeah.
And if I tell you, give me one brand which has been built in last maybe 5-7 years, then it's very, minimal number would come up, because सस्टेनेबिलिटी के लिए, एक ब्रांड बनने के लिए यू टेक 5-10 years जहाँ पे अप्स एंड डाउन्स आते हैं, सर्विसेज इश्यूज आते हैं, प्राइसिंग, एवरीथिंग प्लेज अ पार्ट, एंड देन यू बिकम अ ब्रांड. सो फूड के अंदर बेसिकली व्हाट हैपेंस इज के स्टैंडिंग डिफरेंशिएटिंग फैक्टर जो आपने बोला था कि हाउ डू द विंडो स्टैंड्स अपार्ट. द फर्स्ट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट इज यू जस्ट हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड विंडो एंड द टीम हु इज एट द ग्राउंड लेवल. सो 50% of our revenue comes from GT market right now. 25-30% comes from e-com, all the other channels, and 20% come from exports and other things. So what happened in exports में समझाने की जरूरत नहीं है, they understand what the product is. E-com के अंदर your creatives play a very important part, so they make people understand. So that is done. So now what is left is 50% of your market. How do you make them understand what Windo is all about? Simple है, the tried and tested methods work here. It is a slow process, but that is what work. We do lot of promotional activities, tasting sessions in the stores which they are selling. Our sales people make people try the samples. Okay, food is something you will only buy by looking at packaging maybe once. Once you eat the product and you do not like it, you will never touch that packet again.
True.
But once you taste the product, थोड़ा भी अच्छा लगा, and I'm not saying one time is के हो गया, आपका कन्वर्जन हो गया, कस्टमर लॉयल है. नो, इट डज नॉट हैपन लाइक दिस. करेक्ट. आई विल गिव यू वेरी राइट एग्जांपल. हंग्रीटो करके यहाँ पे एक फेस्ट होता है. लास्ट ईयर वी पार्टिसिपेटेड. वी हैड अ लिस्ट ऑफ ऑलमोस्ट, वी सोल्ड 1000 different customers in a course of 7 days. 1000 orders हुए थे. We had the database. हम लोगों ने retargeting किया, WhatsApp marketing किया, सब कुछ किया. Out of 1000, 70 people bought again. 70. Okay. This is a simple number.
Sure.
Next time when we participate, अभी जो हंग्रीटो में participate किया, almost everybody कि हमने last time खरीदा था, हम वापस खरीद रहे हैं. So it took 1 year. So that means we were not able to push our products in their faces on a regular basis. So that is what you need to do. So जब तक लोगों के सामने नहीं आएगा, बार बार नहीं आएगा, and people try it out, taste it out, and because we are very affordable brand, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 30, 50 rupees में product available है, it makes them a easy choice to buy it out, and it habit तभी बनती है जब वो 2-4 बार खरीदेगा, एंड यू नो दैट एक्वायर्ड टेस्ट. So for us, the simplest method is on GT market, we are going with the traditional methods of tasting and everything for the customers, and that is a slow business. But उसका compensation हमारे को quick commerce और e-com कर देता है, जहाँ पे हमको business मिल जाता है on a speed basis. So we are trying to balance in such a way that we grow on every channel. Every channel takes its own times. So that is how we are doing.
Understood. Thanks. Guys, now it is open for questions. If anybody has any questions, please feel free.
Hi, my name is Ruchi. My question to Yash. So while scaling, how do you decide when to prioritize profitability over aggressive expansion?
Right now, if you ask frankly, everybody is looking towards profitability. It's not easy to raise money. Last year and even the years forward, investors are looking towards at least a path to profitability. So, of course, I think it's very category dependent. For example, we are in a mouth freshener category, and we feel that this category, like there have been brands, but they've not played aggressively for so many years. And after we came on Shark Tank, of course, there are so many people trying to do what we are doing in mouth freshener category. But we still, you have to balance it. You have to have a path to profitability. Not every investor is asking कि आप यही साल profitable हो जाओ. But maybe if last year you were at -20%, you try to be -18 or -15, and then show them that by this year at this revenue will turn towards profitable, like the stage to profitability. Also, I think it depends on a lot of circumstances. Like this is the general sentiment in the market, but then say for example suddenly my competitors get very aggressive, or I see a lot of new brands coming up. It makes a lot of business sense that we put in so much hard work and reached here, so let's make it a little faster because we are already 2 steps ahead. And if we can do things faster with a little more money and investor backing you and the idea and the category, I think then you look towards aggressive expansion and then maybe wait for some time for turning. But every founder right now has to keep profitability in mind. You cannot just grow on losing money and wait for one fine day some magic will happen.
Okay, thank you so much.
Anyone else have a question?
Yeah, hello. So my question is like, if any investor is giving us offer for like he is asking for royalty as well, and we are creating a category which is not existed, so our EBITDA positive will be take time because we have to aware the products, we have to do awareness for the products, then we are going to generate the leads, and then we are going to get the profit. But if we are doing a like royalty in exchange, then eventually our valuation will be like whatever they are providing after 6 months, the royalty we have to pay. So our core principal amount will be reduced, and our like whatever the negative will be, it will be increased. So how we are going to manage the marketing in that case? Anyone can answer like.
Yeah. So your investor, if they're asking for royalty,
Yeah.
which means that if you have good cash flows, then you give the royalty. If you don't have good cash flows, you say no. Because if you are having a product which is in a 80% gross margin ratio, and if the revenues are already good, in early to very early stages, I think you should stay away from that.
Yeah.
It's absolute no. Obviously, if you don't have cash flows, royalty दोगे कहाँ से आप?
Well, that's the reason I said no, but I'm quite confused regarding
नहीं तो
it. It
उसको
is
no
a
बोल
good
दो।
decision or bad decision from my
आप
side.
no बोल दो और Shark Tank में अप्लाई करो।
And being a chartered accountant, what I understand is no investor will ask you royalty unless you are profitable. This has been made active.
If I'm profitable, then I'm going to provide the royalty. But
No,
if
then
the
also-
EBITDA is negative, then there is a chance.
If
of,
it's a EBITDA negative, and then also if the investor is asking for royalty, maybe if he can justify, but maybe I think he's not the right investor, because on one hand he's giving you money to do business, and on the second hand the same
Yeah,
money
he's
because you're
taking the
not
money
making.
back. Yeah.
हाँ, so I don't think, see, investor is like a wedding. So एक तरीके से आपको वो resources दे रहा है और दूसरी तरफ से वहीं आपको नीचे पैर काट रहा है, doesn't make sense. So because you're not making money, and royalty as a concept has been actively like it's a Shark Tank driven. अभी Shark Tank में आने के बाद लोग ज़्यादा मांगने लगे हैं, पहले नहीं मांगते थे. So I don't think at early stages it makes any sense to give royalty for sure. but we can happy to answer anything after the
And just for you and others also, on paper profitability और cash flow positive में बहुत फर्क है. So मतलब yes, everyone is talking about profitability, but फिर cash flow positive होना भी बहुत वो है. तो that also is a factor in choosing whether royalties come into play or not. That's one. And I think royalties Shark Tank में भी second season में वो भी US से आया है. सबने वहाँ से देख के they've learned here also. So anyway, good call if you have said no.
Yeah. And one more question regarding your skincare brand. Before a hair color brand, I think about making a skincare, and I have a good knowledge about skincare as well. So approach you are taking, like, why are you not choosing an influencer like Dhananjay Chauhan? Have you heard about it? He's one of the coolest guy I know about, like, for skincare dermatologist. And after, like, he's one of the guy can promote your brand as well. Good.
No, I think fair point. I think two aspects here. Marketing done through influencers and channel of sales are two different things, right? So what I am talking about my particular business, my channel of sales is dermatologists. Influencers in some way right now we are not doing as much is because at the end of the day for me what matters is not whether say a Dr. X is going on Instagram and saying whether this product is good versus a doctor is actually just prescribing the product. So for me that is our target right now, and hence we're not going to influencers from the category and then asking them to do our reels, but hopefully at some point we will start.
Yeah,
And I think Dermatouch is already doing that, and I think they're also getting really good results.
But
so
in case you are planning for a good chunk of people, like no one is going to like right now. You can go get knowledge in YouTube, ChatGPT everywhere. So no one prefer to go for small issues to Dermat. They can try to watch videos and get the recommendation, and they directly purchase that product.
Correct. So I think there is again a difference between channel to begin the market and then the long-term market that we have, right? So channel where we are starting this business does not necessarily define whether that is the only channel we're going to stay for a long period of time, right? So I think then that comes into picture. For us, that does not mean that this is the only area that will remain in, but this is the area that we chose to begin and enter into the market. So that's the market entry strategy for us.
But in that case, like say
You are allowed one question.
Okay.
Thank you. You can catch hold of them.
But I'm
after the
around, so
panel.
please feel free to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
to
they're
me.
all
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
Okay, don't let them leave. Yeah.
Small question and then the second question. Small question to Joy Spoon. Do you really think that Shark Tank played a big role to be such a big brand so soon? Otherwise, you might have struggled a bit, or
Definitely.
you were having already a plan.
No. So Shark Tank, so I think what we believe. So Sumit has been our observer since day one. So a lot of things, like not just Shark Tank, even before that 100x happened, he was the person who guided through it. And then Shark Tank, so he guided us through 100x. And then there was one founder in 100x who told कि इंडिया में यश अब D2C बनाने के लिए कुछ ऐसा वायरल करना पड़ेगा. And that time, like, this was in October 2023 when we coined the name Joy Spoon. They said क्या वायरल कर सकते हैं, like कुछ तो वायरल करना चाहिए. Shark Tank is one platform, or maybe you do some crazy content कि भाई लोग आपको ही देख रहे हैं. So we were like, we had it in mind. So when we launched the brand in July 24, the Shark Tank forms were out in that month itself. So a lot of founders that time might think, अरे brand अभी चालू किया है, how do we go for it? I was like, let's apply for it, and we applied for it. July happened the first round, August second, and September हमारा third round shooting भी हो गया. And then it aired in February. So हमारे पास 7-8 महीने का वो time था just to prepare and do everything. But I think that gave us the boost that was required initially. मतलब maybe I don't know in crores how much it is, but it did give an initial boost, a validation. People know us in market. A lot of people have seen the episode. And for any founder, any like D2C में कोई भी marketing is good marketing, and Shark Tank is national level. Now there are other channels as well. But I don't think anybody should wait कि सही time या my right product या I reach a certain scale and then I'll go to Shark Tank. I think going there itself, being there on that platform itself gives you a lot of confidence internal, and then externally तो of course people recognize you and then you can
But I guess you are lucky enough कि आपका वो role हुआ and हुआ.
I
Otherwise-
count myself very lucky.
Yes. Acha, one more question, because all the D2C brands starts from किचन, मतलब एक घर से ही शुरू होता है मोस्ट ऑफ द D2C ब्रांड्स। तो जब हम शुरू करते हैं तो माउथ पब्लिसिटी से थोड़ा बहुत होता है, बट आई वांट टू नो कि हमें जब GT MT मॉडल में जाना होता है तो बहुत सारे परसेंटेज हमें डिवाइड करने पड़ते हैं, और एज ऑफ नाउ अगर हमारे पास कोई इन्वेस्टर्स नहीं है तो हाउ शुड वी प्लान आवर बिजनेस? एनीवन कैन आंसर, हाउ शुड वी प्लान आवर बिजनेस टू गो फर्दर?
So बहुत simple है. See, it is a mindset change what needs to be done, and secondly, it is never about resources. When you find the right path, resources do come. कभी मुश्किल से मिलता है, कभी easily मिलता है, but they do come. So when you decide that you want to start, let's say GT or MT or any channel, you have to focus on that. So you will get in the initial stage. See, ultimately, I think 80% of the people sitting here, the only bottleneck what everybody thinks they are facing is money. Finance के बिना सब कुछ अटके हुए हैं या अटका हुआ है, फंड आ जाता तो मैं ये कर लूंगा. That will always stay. That problem will always stay. If you get the funds also, that problem is still going to be staying there. क्योंकि you expand, and expansion के अंदर पैसा कम पड़ने वाला ही है. So my answer is very simple. Shifting from kitchen to something, building a big business, it requires lot of mindset change. So पहले तो आप mindset को इतना strong कर लो कि are you capable enough to handle that kind of pressure or that kind of numbers? Because the moment you are in the market, आप कोई घर का kitchen, क्यों अभी तक जो sales मिलता है ना वो known लोगों से मिलता है. The moment you are talking and pitching to people who are not known to you, it is cutthroat competition. Yesterday, 2 days before, I think me and Akash were talking to somebody. उसने बोला कि तुम मेरे सगे थोड़ी हो, करेक्ट? मैं क्यों तुम्हारे में इन्वेस्ट करूं? एज अ VC और somebody who is putting fund, उसका एक ही इंटेंशन होता है, my money should double. I am looking at my multiple and exit. Why should I invest in your brand when there are hundreds of brands available in hundreds of sectors? My intention is to make my money in multiple times. So the simple answer is, कोई किसी का सगा नहीं है. I'm so sorry being very straight to you. You have to develop the mindset. It is a hard way going into GT. हम लोगों को 6 महीने तक खुद ही माल बेचना पड़ा था. None of the distributor was able to put our products. They were right. क्यों आपके भरोसा करें? कल आपकी प्रोडक्ट बेचे, अच्छी हो गई, आपने डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर चेंज कर दिया तो because there is no history behind you. Nobody knows you. So वो हिस्ट्री बनाने के लिए, वो करने के लिए आपको ही मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. So just change your mindset, be strong about it. It happens. Everything happens automatically.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? Last question. Last one. I knew that. Last 2. Make it fast, please. Thank you.
Yeah. So one question is like, right now I'm at the stage where my expansion needs to be done. So with that expansion, I work in the basically wellness field. So with that expansion, my vision, my philosophy has been diluting. So what should I prioritize? Either my vision mission or my expansion?
बहुत सिंपल है. What do you want?
It's like दोनों चीज चाहिए मुझे.
नहीं होता है ना. So there are 2 girls in the college. दोनों मुझे पसंद है. Can I marry legally? See, simple question. See, everybody wants everything. I'm so sorry. Everybody wants everything. But ultimately, see, business is all about taking choices, making choices, and taking the hard decisions. Like what I think he said, कि profit चाहिए कि growth चाहिए, aggressive growth चाहिए. दोनों ही चाहिए. नहीं मिलती है. So when you are focusing on the path of aggressive growth, profitability for that time would take a hit because aggressive growth will come from performance marketing, spending on influencers, everything, and it requires money. Not because it is money driven. एक simple example है. Somebody told me कि मैंने बोला हमने GT route लिया था. It is the hardest and it is the slowest. बोले क्यों लिया? There is some brand who is e-com only and doing let's say 1 crore of revenue a month. मैं उसको फंड करूंगा क्योंकि मुझे 1 करोड़ का रेवेन्यू दिख रहा है. See, somebody sustainable 10 साल का टाइम अब लोगों के पास नहीं है. And it is very hard to even put your bets on somebody कि ये 10 साल तक sustain करेगा कि नहीं करेगा. So make your choice. If you are passionate about whatever you are doing is a scalable business and good business for yourself, follow that. Hardships will come, but you will find the way. If ultimately you do not find the way, then maybe you were wrong. It's okay. Accept that you were wrong and then shift to the different path.
Okay. And last question to all of you. एक लाइन में अगर हम सबको कुछ कहना हो तो what would it be? Like individually from
advice,
you.
right? Advice for you guys.
Advice or philosophy, like anything that we could think or like again and again and different meaning could come out of it.
ये आपका she has stolen your thunder. मतलब moderator normally पूछता है. So एक लाइन में कि लगे रहो.
Focus on anything that you are going to, and then when you are at a certain stage, try to diversify.
I think your 0 to 1, 1 to 10 journey, I believe in just one thing, which is conquer every day. That's how you go ahead with everything.
See, for me, it would be ki take the leap. If you won't try, it won't happen. So take the leap.
See, I believe in a very simple fundamental. There is nothing like work-life balance. 16 घंटे काम करना पड़ेगा, 17 घंटे काम करना पड़ेगा, and all the hard decisions you have to take. That is the only short way of success. I think all the things would come into that. Focus बोलो या लगे रहो बोलो. You have to. Nothing like work-life balance. Understand this. अगर आप सब कुछ करने जाओगे तो आप वहीं अटक जाओगे.
Chandan bhai, you said this to someone who is into work-life balance, I think.
So you killed her business, or maybe gave her more business. I don't know. More business. Yeah. Yeah. No, he created a lot of customers for you because now they will follow his advice. The work-life balance will go for a toss. They come to you. I have a very serious question for you, Chandan. You said 2 girls. Once you choose, Kari, finally. You don't have to answer that. Let's give a big round of applause to the panel, please. Can you grace us with a photo, please? Thank you. And there is a gift. Yes. ये सबको शेयर करना है. No, I'm sure you'll get individual ones, but this one is for photo, please. हाथ लगाना नहीं तो मिलते हैं.
आप पैनलिस्ट हो पर सबको तो सब कुछ नहीं मिलता, right?
Yeah, exactly.